Guess who's back, back again, again. Guys, it's not Eminem, even though I sound just like him. It is not a ghost of the Titanic, as prevalent as they may be. It's your girl, Taylor. We are here back on Cancel Me, Baby. It has been a time. It has been a journey, in this life, personally, on the interweb, all kinds of things going on. And where I last left you guys, something that we had talked about is the dick swinging contest that had been prevailing through our culture like a wildfire that just can't be stopped. And where are we now in our journey? We've gone from the cultural dick swinging contest with all of these dudes showing off their bravado-ness. I don't know if that's a word, but if so, we just coined it. To the insecure dude Olympics. We're playing a little bit of catch up here. So today we are going to be talking about what I've observed in the last week. Now that I'm back in Nashville, now that my mic is back and popping, like I said, it's been a journey. And we're going to be talking about a new development today. This wasn't originally in my episode lineup, but BB Rexha's boyfriend, who from what I'm seeing is not in the insecure dude Olympics, but the others who are really competing for the throne. We have Jonah Hill, we have Dave Portnoy, and we have the mother load, the big kahuna of it all, Andrew Tate and his circle jerk that was 2.5 hours long that I will never get back of my existence, and his sit down with Tucker Carlson. Because we all know this, right? The word misogyny is thrown around left, right, sideways, and upside down like you wish that your typical Friday night could be. And are these dudes really misogynistic? Well, we're going to explore that today. Have no fear. The misogyny train is not here. It comes to a screeching halt here, but we are going to decipher and have a little bit of a scale, if you will. And I will be the judge of it. I don't know who appointed me the misogyny police. I guess I did. And moreover, and seriously, most importantly, why in a 48-hour period are 70 million people tuning in to watch the Andrew Tate-Tucker Carlson circus nonsense? And why is it resonating with them? And like detectives, Inspector Gadget and Pink, we're going to find out today. So number one, BB Rexha, this is just unfolding literally today. This is Monday, July 17th. And like I said, this is kind of like, spur of the moment, wasn't in the plan, but thought it was on brand with this. So had to be addressed, like I said, kind of, in real time unfolding. And I'm basing all of this, by the way, off of one screenshot. To make a long story short, BB Rexha, who is a famous pop singer, has been in the news for gaining weight, and she's gone back and slammed on haters saying, you're body shaming me, this and that. That's aside the point here, not going down that rabbit hole. But she allegedly broke up with her boyfriend and posted a screenshot of a text that he sent her, in which people are very split on the internet. And many are deeming it, and many prominent Instagram pop culture accounts are deeming it body shaming, what this man has said to her. Now, let me tell you again, since I am the traffic stop, the pink is traffic cone that you didn't know that you needed, okay? This shit is not body shaming. He sends her this lengthy text that could not be more empathetic, honest, sincere, communicative, looking out for her best interest, right? And talking about how it almost infers that she asked for his opinion. And he says, I never said you're not beautiful. Does your face look different? Maybe yes, you asked me, but he really goes on a deeper level to say, see what's going on inside, internally, mentally, seeking therapy, and really getting that mind, body, spirit combo going. Do you know what I mean? And in the text, he even refers to her going ham on him. He's like, I gained 3 pounds and you're calling me chubby dad bod over here, kind of thing. So the double standard there. But again, moreover, how people think that his texts are body shaming. And it's so crazy to me because again, I'm like, I have my telescope, I have my binoculars, like, where's the body shaming to be seen? Like, this to me is an honest, thoughtful partner who's looking out for your best interest. And there's a fine line. And I know it's a sensitive topic. Like if a partner or a loved one saying to you, like, you're getting a little doughy, like you're chilling with the Pillsbury Doughboy a little too much today. I get that that can hurt. And there's a fine line of it being malicious and hurtful and real body shaming and making somebody feel like shit versus this. So all of that goes to say, this to me is not a dude in the insecure dude Olympics because the competition is stiff. It is tough. And I'm just not seeing it here. And I'll tell you, even from personal experience, you guys know that I've been on the Operation Sex Goddess body, my own mind, physical, soul, and spiritual journey. And I'll tell you, my dude will put me in check. And it's almost like what I'm seeing with this guy. He's like, I can see, I'm talking for me personally, when you're on that mission and you're on that role and you have that discipline, it pours into everything. You just feel better and radiate and show up in a different way. And it looks like this is what this guy is trying to have her back on. And so it just makes me think again, is any comment ever about someone's appearance or a woman's appearance body shaming? Like that is just toxic. Sciencing for me today. So let's give it up. Again, I'm basing this all on, he could be an axe murderer for all I know. I'm basing this on a solo screenshot of one text, but let's give it up for BB Rex's boyfriend who handled this in an upstanding way, like a gentleman should be, unlike these bozos I'm about to talk about today. Okay, so quickly, Jonah Hill. And again, I know this was like the talk of the internet last week and I had some things come up, and talk to me Taylor world. So we're playing catch up and you may think this is old news, but it's actually not because this is the only input that you need. Okay. Point blank. I'm taking on that big dude, big dick, cocky dude energy. You know what I mean? Like equality for the win. Let's talk about it. Okay. So Jonah Hill, this was like a whole big controversy too, with people calling him a raging misogynist because his ex, same thing, put old texts of his on blast. What did they entail? She's a surfer and an athlete, super hot, has it going on. And he has this string of texts that's like therapy speak about how she shouldn't be with somebody like him. And all of these photos of her on her social media, like her ass in a thong. And I quote, while she's surfing, while she's riding that wave, the wave that she isn't going to ride with this guy in his Jufro, aren't acceptable, aren't appropriate, and demands that she takes content like that down, right? Is this misogyny? To me, no. I don't think Jonah Hill and his Jew curls, and I can say this because I'm sporting them myself, assholes, is a misogynist. I think that this is a telltale sign of an insecure, controlling dude. And a double standard, right? Because like, could you imagine going to a guy and being like, listen, the banana hammock post from your time in South Beach is just really making me feel a type of way. Like, no. And again, this goes into what I've said before about the Madonna horror complex. And that's illustrated in my next example with Dave Portnoy, right? It's like women are either the pure saints, the ones to be put on a pedestal and respected, the Madonnas, or they're degraded, they're less than, they're useless whores. And it's like, are you having a good time in 1806? Like, J-Dubs, I'm just wondering, like, how's that time portal treating you today? So I think that this is someone, like I said, who's completely insecure, not my type of dude. Number one, don't tell me what to do. But number two, am I right? What is so threatening to you about this? Ladies, please send me your letters from prison, your carrier pigeons, if you feel me. There is nothing hotter than a secure guy who, I'm not talking about pimping you out and is like the other extreme of this, but who is so secure that if you're looking right and you're looking fine and you're looking tight, he is like your number one advocate. He's holding up 10 score signs and he is here like, does everyone see my girl? Yep. She is mine, because he knows you're going home with his ass in the end of the night. And there's nothing hotter in that confidence of like, yep, that's my girl, eat your heart out. And again, not feeding into that Madonna whore complex, but like raising you up and wanting you to be your hottest, most empowered version of yourself. Like, can I get an amen? So Jonah Hill, all right, everybody, for the competition of the day, you know, the scale and the scoreboard that we all needed, is Jonah Hill a misogynist? No, I don't think so. I think he's threatened, little baby dick, scared, insecure, controlling dude. Next. Dave Portnoy. It's like, this is the reinvented version. This is the reboot of The Next Bus. Could you imagine? Like, what? Okay, I'm bringing this to MTV, but it's like all these boss bitch girls are sitting there and the dudes get off the bus and give their spiel, and we're in the Insecure Dude Olympics, and like we next them right then and there. We rate them like it's going to happen. I can't wait. Okay, where are my royalties? So Dave Portnoy. So, you know, I was on the fence about even airing this out because, as you guys know who listen to my show, I like Dave Portnoy. I have a good rapport with Dave. He's come on my show. You know, we'll DM every now and then. And there was a part of me that's like, am I putting him on blast right now? But then I'm like, I got to do my duty, my due diligence to the people. Like, I'm sorry. I speak the truth. Like, every man for themselves, bitch. What can I say? It's a dog-eat-dog world. You know what I mean? Do I think Dave Portnoy is a misogynist? No. Do I agree with what he said here? No. Does it give me the ick? Yes. So now that I have that, you know, cliffhanger going for you, Dave Portnoy went on a rant last week, I believe it was. Again, don't know what was in the air. Don't know like what fucked up these dudes' testosterone last week. Like, someone check your water systems. He went on a whole rant on social media in light of rumors around Tom Brady and Kim Kardashian canoodling and having a little time, right? And he goes on this whole thing basically because obviously Dave Portnoy, like myself, tried and true Patriots fan, worships Tom Brady, goes on this whole thing that's like, you can't be dating Kim Kardashian. That's basically like, that's the bottom of the barrel. He says like, you're better than that. That's dirty A-list, like not real, you know, and literally goes as far as to say like, just go fuck her in a hotel room and be done with it. But like, you can't date her. Like, that's as low gets. Like, if you're dating her, what does that mean for the rest of us? And he implies and goes on to say, she's not a real A-lister because she got famous by having sex on camera, right? So at face value, as I did, I'm not gonna lie, immediately I was like, the red flags, they were going off, you know, like it was Mario Kart and they're just going off left, right, and sideways. I did not like any of this, okay? And I will say this, right? From having Dave Portnoy, he was on my show last year. This is why I say, do I think Dave at core is a misogynist? I don't. I mean, he talks to me about, even in his own business, right? Misogyny really is that disdain for women and thinking of them as inferior, right? And he talked about leveraging some of the most, you know, iconic women in media and digital media in pop culture. You know, his own CEO who he brought in was a woman. He was like, why? Not because of a quota, not because of this, that, because she was the best one for the job and she turned the company around, right? Like, a misogynist is not going to appoint a female to be their CEO, right? All these things. He talks about having a good relationship with his mom and all this. Again, why I don't agree with what was said here, though, why it left a bad taste in my mouth, is because, number one, back to the Madonna whore complex, because he does say, oh, like, I'm not saying she doesn't have other talents and isn't like a gazillionaire, but it's totally discrediting her and what she's built. And I've said this before, whether you like it or not, the fact is, and she would admit this in the deepest, darkest shadows of the night, that is how Kim Kardashian got famous. But it also doesn't go to say, I mean, she has become and built $1 billion empire and has become one of the most powerful, resourceful, successful businesswomen and pop culture figures that she has figured out, like marketing genius, on her own. So did she get in the door, back door, no pun intended, one way? Yes. But did she build it into this other thing? Yes. And it's like, for Dave Portnoy to wash all of that away, because, and, you know, really belittle her, because of, again, the Madonna whore complex, but because of the sex tape thing, is particularly unsettling and hypocritical. Number one, because his own girlfriend is an Instagram model, right? And when he was on my show, we talked about this very thing, like misconceptions and judgments and stigmas of that, right? And he talks about watching it from the front row, how she puts so much hustle and work into it and how it's a real business. Now, am I saying that being an Instagram model is the same as like getting down with Ray J and getting the, Super 8 on in there to get every pixelation? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but you're an Instagram model. You're not a nun. Like it's a form of selling your body, selling sex, selling your image, right? For money. So what are we actually, like, it's just in my head. I'm like, again, what are you so threatened by? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. But secondly, ironically, this is why Barstool gets such a reputation for being misogynistic. Again, I don't think that it is, because of the very idea of raising women up and giving them such platforms, right, to have their say and to have, a spotlight. But let's not forget, Call Her Daddy. Barstool put Call Her Daddy on the map and it exploded. And again, this isn't a Sunday at church. They are literally out here being like, blowjob this, labia that. So again, to put Kim Kardashian down as less than and literally compare her, he even goes as far as to list certain A-listers who would be appropriate for Tom Brady. He's like Zendaya, Taylor Swift, Anna de Armas. And again, I think it's really insulting. It's like, I see. So they're more respectable because they got somewhere a certain way versus Kim Kardashian, which has built a legitimate business and given all of your background. So again, I'm no scientist, I'm no mathematician, but for me, math ain't mathing. Now, the stamp of misogyny, I will put this down on record. No, I don't think that Dave Portnoy is a misogynist. I think that this is just in bad taste. And again, I think it's that faulty Madonna whore complex mindset and someone being threatened and insecure. And again, the irony of all this, let's not forget, is that dudes who put down women for their sexuality, this, that, it's like at the same time, you are jerking off in your tube socks, fantasizing about this shit on the daily. So like, what's it gonna be? So now is the big kahuna of it all. The 2.5 Tate-Carlson sit down that I know you guys wanted me to address. And as a, provider of the people, I am here to give the people what you want. So I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of the legalities of it. If you don't know, Andrew Tate is this internet. He claims that he owned the internet. Picture Kanye's ego and that it had sex with a misogynistic, woman-hating ego of equal or larger size, and that is Andrew Tate, okay? Internet personality likes to inflate his own tiny little brain that he's really reinstating, functional, masculinity, masculine roles and gender roles and all this shit, right? So he right now is in Romania, and it's very muddled, very messy, but has investigation and is waiting to have court proceedings and charges regarding trafficking and rape. So Tucker Carlson does his sit down with him now that he's been exiled from Fox News and he's over here in the Twitterverse. And I will say, people just have this crusade against Tucker Carlson. He's this, he's a sexist, racist, da, da, da. I never thought that about Tucker. Again, I was never a Tucker groupie, but when I always heard that, I'd be like, whatever, you guys are just being uptight. Like I said, I always appreciated how he kind of went up against the man, but I think his style, I think he's just kind of cheesy. And obviously in this, as proven in here, he doesn't do his research. Like, bro, may want to try it sometime, right? Having this many people watch you. But I will say, this is the very first time ever that Tucker Carlson truly gave me the ick that everybody that everybody writes home about, because he does this opening monologue before the interview where it's just him to camera. And he talks about all of the things that I've said on this show, how there's been a real slip of masculinity and men losing their footing, and how men have been feminized and been shamed for their bodies, their way of thinking, like urinals being taken away, right? All these things. I agree. Then this motherfucker has the brain cells, or lack thereof, with a combination, the perfect alchemy of audacity, to name Andrew Tate as this virtuous symbol of someone reinstating and restoring masculinity and what it should be. And if you know anything about Andrew Tate, which you're about to in T-minus 2 minutes, you will be like, are you actually living on this planet? Like, gross. So they have this whole 2.5-hour sit down, and basically Tucker Carlson it's ridden with hypocrisies on Andrew Tate's end. He backpedals. He, tries to cover his tracks of shit he said before. Like I said, it's totally hypocritical. And Tucker Carlson goes as far as to basically be sucking his balls to affirm and validate everything he says versus ever challenge him. Right. So that's number one. So my big off the bat problem with this is how Andrew Tate takes advantage of our messed up media right now. I've talked about, as you guys know, I am the first person to call the media out on its bullshit, right? Like how it'll distort, cherry pick, how it has biases, all of these things, misconstrue information. Andrew Tate takes advantage of this and blames the mainstream media and throws them under the bus at every turn for his shitty reputation, right? He's like, oh, it's just, all I've advocated for is for men to go to the gym, and the media thinks I'm some evil monster. First of all, I'm going to get into what Andrew Tate has actually said. And trust me, it's a far cry from get up in the gym, guys. Secondly, this is one time I will say, you don't need to blame the media for your shitty reputation. You did that all on your own, my dude. So that's what I don't like, because when the media really is jacked up, we need to be really careful to not be just using it as a scapegoat at every turn, because this is not an example of that. So secondly, the big idea of let's not misconstrue two things, right? There's, in my mind, the reality of men, like I said, losing their way and traditional masculinity falling through the cracks and men being confused, and it's thrown off and made completely awkward, the dynamic between men, women, all of that. I believe in it so much so that I have been talking about it before all these mofos when I was on the red carpet in Hollywood with A-listers. Most people would be like, tell me about your Barbie outfit, Margot Robbie. And I'd be like, what's the deal with men being a hot mess, right? Like I was getting into this with, and I'm not going to get into what all of them said, but with, men, women, younger, older, black, white, doesn't matter, right? And it was really interesting to get their viewpoints across the spectrum, because it is and has been an issue. With that said, you would think that I would be having a party in the streets right now over what Andrew Tate and Tucker Carlson are doing, being like, yes. And what I've been fighting for and what I've been talking about is, again, not to be misconstrued with this bullshit and with this nonsense. So here are some things, if you were wondering, like, what is so bad, Taylor, that Andrew Tate has said, let's elaborate. Picture it, okay? You're in The Handmaid's Tale. And here are some things that your Lord Dictator Andrew Tate has actually said, okay? He has said things like, women are currency, fuck money. Women are the real currency, boasting about having multiple wives, saying that you need hoes, and then they can go, I quote, fuck off and do women shit. He has literally insinuated women can't get rich, like they can't be rich on their own, can't drive, and has literally described them akin to things like dogs and children that you have to train, who owe you respect, and who you essentially own, right? And it's so obvious in everything that Andrew Tate has said that he has a deep belief that women are inferior to men. He's literally said men are the backbone to everything. And now So there you go. That's your masculine hero in a nutshell. Is this the kind of guy who you want to be dating, who you want your future or your current daughter to date, who you want to, hang out with at a dinner party, who you want to be in the same city as? I don't think so. Okay. And now this guy has the nerve to gaslight all of us and insist to Tucker over and over, all I've ever said was that men should go to the gym and have standards and have self-respect. Again, let's not misconstrue. I'm going to hold you to account, even though 70 million people who are jerking off to you right now clearly don't. That's not what you said. So we're not idiots, right? And this backpedaling nonsense is such a joke. And it really makes me think on the whole, right? So if it's not clear to you, right? We're here with our scoreboard from the judges at Talk to Me Taylor. This is tried and true, toxic, disgusting misogyny. Further, because Andrew Tate has such a disdain for women, it genuinely makes me think, who hurt you? Like, what was it? Your mom? Was it a girlfriend? Like, what woman messed you up so bad that you need to literally make it your life's mission to instill in men's brains that they're superior to women? And again, describe women akin to an animal like a dog. Who hurt you? And again, it goes back into everything with these guys today. Like, what are you so threatened by? What are you so threatened by that you need to do this to preserve your own manlyhood and well-being? It's disgusting. So the third problem that I have with this, right, is how, again, the hypocrisy, because Tucker Carlson asked Andrew Tate about porn. And number one is the double standard, because he goes on yet again the record to, again, the Madonna whore thing, to basically say how women who show their bodies or use their sexualities, it's like the Candace Owens mantra, right? They're unfulfilled, they won't be happy. And throughout society, cultures have looked at women like that as less than and as degraded, and they can't ever amount to anything. And he even says in the interview, he spells out the double standard right there, like the ABCs. He's like, with men, you don't have that issue, but with women, too bad. This is how we look at you, right? And talks all about that and how, women shouldn't be promiscuous and all this. And I'm thinking, this is the same asshole who's on camera time and time again, bragging about his, and I quote, webcam pimpin' business, where he would literally brag like, oh yeah, I called 7 bitches I know to come over my house and basically run these OnlyFans-like, accounts with these women to make, upwards of $25,000 a month. And now suddenly, oh, you can't be promiscuous. It's, and again, Tucker Carlson never once challenges this guy. And he's like, yeah, you're right. Again, it's all hypocritical. You're gaslighting, you're backpedaling, and I'm a lie detector personified, bitch. I'm buying any of it. It's disgusting. I also want to say the hypocrisy, and I put this on my Instagram, right? But also the blatant hypocrisy, because a lot of this praise for Andrew Tate and his reckoning right now is coming from conservative men. And I just want to say, where is the lie? Because especially here in Nashville in the South, very much conservative. All I hear about all day long is the importance of, and I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but the importance of the nuclear family and a man and a woman in union to helm the household and be monogamous and not be promiscuous. And you guys are the same people building a shrine to this guy who, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So has all these allegations of trafficking and what have you, but further basically put pen to paper to talk about and brag about his, basically female sex webcam pimping business. What's it going to be? Like, one is not like the other. So not sure where you come up with that conclusion, but where's the lie there? So overall, guys, what I, brought to you in the beginning, it is concerning what is happening right now in our culture. Why in literally 2 days have 70 million people watched this interview and further resonated with it, right? So a couple things here. Number one, this is a moment where I hate to say I told you so, right? So a couple things at play here. I think that this is extreme backlash because for years, even like I said, when I was calling it out back in Hollywood on the red carpet with celebrities, right? This insistent need to put men down, ridicule them, and stomp them out at every turn because telling them that they're toxic, they're misogynist, they're constantly spreading toxic masculinity, and in turn, constantly advocating for them to be feminized, to be soft, to go against so much of their core and their instincts and their nature, right? In turn, leaving them almost lost and confused. Like, I don't even know what to do here, right? But yeah, I agree. A lot of the time, feminizing them. And I think this, unfortunately, is a backlash to all of that, to men losing their identity, not only losing it, but being told so many times over and over, like, you're bad, you're wrong, your past is bad, your actions, your thoughts, like, go over there. We don't need no man. All of these things, right? I think has contributed to them losing their way. And I think that what we're seeing here is men feeling a part of them. And unfortunately, like, validated, like, yeah, see, yeah, we do matter. Yeah, actually, our male instincts, like, they do mean something, right? And this is where it comes to the messenger. The messenger to help aid all this is not an Andrew Tate. I'm going to get to that in a second, and of who it should be, right? So that's one thing. I think that this is extreme backlash to the media doing that. And I think women play a role in this too, because again, it's the whole crusade of, hardcore feminism. I don't need no man. I don't need you. And the truth is, we are different in really powerful ways, like the yin and the yang that need each other. Right. So again, even like I'll have dudes be like, I don't know, do I open a door for a girl because she like insists, no, I don't need it. But then she gets mad if I don't. Same thing with paying for the bill. Like, she insists to do it, but then if I don't, she gets mad. Right. So all of these confusing messages, I think. But I will say, to speak to that point, men are at fault too for letting this happen. Men have let this happen and they have become doormats. And I say this as a self-sufficient, self-respecting, very strong person with a very, very strong identity, woman, right? I do not want a guy who is a pussy, right? Obviously, I really value somebody who is emotionally intelligent and will support you and will, protect you and defend you and have your back. But someone who will step in and play that man role, again, it's the yin and the yang. Someone who will just step up and do it and take charge. And like I said, defend you, protect you, fight for you, lift you up, all of these things, right? Because truly, a man who isn't threatened would do all of these things. And if a guy is like, I don't know what to do, you know what I would say to that? Too bad, buddy. Step up and do it, right? And we're seeing this happen in society, in our culture. This is what I mean. It's not just a theory of like men are becoming, babies and are losing their way. Again, less men in the military, less men going to school, right? Less men entering the workforce, less men having sex, getting married, all of these things. It's like, get out of your mom's basement, give your hand and Grand Theft Auto a break, and go out there and be a real man. I'm not sorry. And again, even something like ghosting, right, speaks volumes. Little baby bitch weasels, no communication, no accountability. Could you imagine? Your grandparents and great-grandparents are rolling in their graves. They did not pave the way for this bullshit. And that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. So I think that's what it really comes down to. So it's on all of these people, all of these factors, the media, women, men. Trust me, guys, strong women can appreciate a strong, assertive man who will take charge. Okay. And what we really need here is we want to be listening in this vulnerable moment to someone like an Andrew Tate, Could you imagine a bunch of these assholes running around the next generation and after that? And if they're brainwashed by this guy because they are in this moment of weakness, what that will look like? So what I'm advocating for here is real, true male role models, people who have honor and dignity and self-respect and honor women and fight for women to lift women up and empower women. Because really, at the end of the day, what the hell are you really so threatened by? If you're really a man and that's secure, what are you so threatened by?